everybody, it's Gamescom 2014. Sean McInnes and Seb Ford. We just checked out a little bit of Quantum Break, and this was interesting because we got to see what happens after the press conference demo that we saw yesterday.
It's platforming.
There's quite a bit of platforming. Time problems is how I would characterize it.
Yeah.
So that demo, just to do a little bit of a recap, was very combat heavy. We saw some third-person cover shooting. We saw some light time manipulation, but all in the context of shooting dudes in the face. This kind of revealed that Quantum Break, there's more to it than that, right?
Yeah, there's going to be way more than that. I mean, once time collapses like that, first off, you can still use your powers, those time powers you've got, inside one of those time rifts that they've got.
The stutters, I think.
The stutters, yeah. All right, so you can still use your powers inside those, especially against things like those enemies who can follow you into a rift.
Right.
But as you were saying before, one of the new big things is going to be traversing the landscape as it sort of crumbles and crashes around you.
Yeah, it almost felt like a 3D platformer in the vein of an Uncharted because of how much running and jumping there is.
It's every single one. It's like it's a narrow ledge followed by a jump, followed by a wait for this thing to move in time, because some of them are like stuck in a loop.
Yeah, so there's things like Sam Lake, the creative director, described them as being stuck in destructive loops.
Yes.
So like a truck carrying gravel might get stuck overturning again and again and again, and it just kind of resets every time.
So it'll be hurling obstacles into your path, and unless you freeze it, you're going to get presumably smushed, right?
Or you can try timing it, run past as best you can, which in some ways reminded me of like Mario trying to avoid a thwomp coming down to crush his head.
Yeah.
You had that same thought too?
Yeah, definitely. But it looked like as he was sprinting through, he was like pausing time quickly. So it was like, look for the gap, pause time, go, and then was able to make it through.
These stutters, like visually, look really
They're incredible.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that that Sam was pointing out to us was as the stutter happened, you know, you might feel inclined to sort of hurry towards your objective. Go like, all right, I definitely need to get there. But then you can kind of take your time, and there was a bit where he sort of like went over and explored, and there was I think, you know, like a wife holding her husband who'd just been shot by Monarch, the
evil corporation.
Evil Corp. And you know, and she's holding him, and he can sort of like hear these little like time whispers, you know, of her like agony as like her husband's dying in her arms, and you can sort of explore around and just see and traverse through this amazing rendered environment, I guess.
Yeah. And it looks crazy, especially like what we saw where the whole bridge is falling apart and there's so much debris, and he has to traverse like the wreckage as it's plummeting. Like at one point he jumped across like 2 freeway signs.
Yeah.
It was like visually looks really cool. The jury is out as toward like how much the linearness will kind of like weigh down on players.
It was pretty bombastic, you know, all of the platforming around just was like, okay, here's another one. Whoa, it's like it's really abrasive on the eyes.
It's kind of a mindfuck.
It's exactly that. And after a while I was like, whoa, this is pretty heavy. But it was quite good when he got into the combat with the heavies who were in the forgotten it again.
Stutter.
They was, you know, in the stutter with him, and he was able to use objects that were frozen in the stutter to sort of hurl at these heavies and then put back afterwards, like delicately replace back into the, you know, huge explosion that it had frozen in.
Yeah. So, I mean, altogether, just to wrap it up a little bit, it's a game with some really cool ideas, like visually very striking, interested in the story. Gameplay itself, I need to see more of it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I definitely want to play more of it at the very least.
Well, they did say that there's going to be other bits like that, you know, where you're pausing time to move through that aren't going to be quite as, you know, overwhelming.
Right.
But, you know, we look forward to seeing that when the time comes.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.